I had my marketing agency going for about a year to a year and a half. No, it's about a year, kind of on my own. I was around 5,000 a month just through like referrals. When I joined, I really wanted to scale that like up to 10K and then beyond. My goal this year is to reach 30,000 a month, maybe by next year. I don't know. We'll see.
What's up, guys? This is Nick with Consulting Profits, and today I have one of my favorite clients here, Haley. So, Haley, I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we'll kind of dive into your story, how much you've scaled, and all that good stuff, and everything in between that.
Yeah, sounds great, Nick. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Haley Dreis. I own a marketing agency in LA, helping real estate investors. And I started working with Nick about maybe it was 6 or 7 months ago. And since then, yeah, Nick has helped me tremendously. So excited to hop on this call.
Sweet. Yeah, super excited. So, first off, I guess maybe tell us where you were, like kind of revenue wise. I know this was kind of like a record month for you. So maybe if you're open to sharing like your how much cash collected you did, and then we'll kind of dive into the other stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm really proud because they put in a lot of work to do that. So happy
Yeah.
to share. I started out, I had my marketing agency going for about a year to a year and a half. No, it's about a year, kind of on my own. I was around 5,000 a month just through like referrals. When I joined, I really wanted to scale that like up to 10K and then beyond. My goal this year is to reach 30,000 a month, maybe by next year. I don't know. We'll see. But really just having like a sustainable business and having systems in place where I don't have to rely on asking friends and family all the time to get clients. So the systems, setting them up were really helpful. And I think between just learning how to ask for testimonial content, how to ask for referrals, how to, just bring people into my world, I got up to that 10K mark, like a couple months into the like working with you in the program and everything. So that felt really good. And then now scaling my business, it was really taking that to the next level. And actually, it's no about 8 or 9 days into the month now, and I actually collected $19,000
Ooh.
already this month. And I was like so proud of that because I just kind of was teeter-tottering on that 10K a month. So I feel like things are really growing and I see the potential of a lot more than that next month.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, 9 days in, 19K cash collected, and then I assume you still
Mhm.
have some clients being charged and things like that for ongoing into this month. So you'll
Yeah.
definitely surpass 20K, which is sweet.
Yeah, I'll definitely surpass 20K this month. I did have a couple that upgraded as well. So
Oh,
yeah, excited about that.
maybe even get close to that 30 by the end of this month. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm like, who knows? Like maybe something will come through. And that's the thing that I'm realizing is a lot of the efforts are compounding. Like when we first started working together, like I had to set up these systems and just be really consistent and diligent with like reaching out, follow-ups, and that
Hmm.
building relationships with people just naturally takes time. But now I feel like I probably have like 8 or 9 people in my follow-ups who are legitimately interested, who just needed logistical things to fall into place. So those are the people that I'm like, okay, I could see how I could get to 30K if I just follow up and provide the right offer to them at the right time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really promising.
Yeah, and especially with your new offer, which I'm excited to touch on as well. But yeah, that's
Yes.
sweet. Yeah, super sweet. So back then, like when you first kind of started your agency and everything like that, what kind of like retainers and things like that were you charging?
Yeah, so I was doing like month to month, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 just for like Facebook advertising. And then on top of that, scaling up from there. So I did have like one client who was at like 5,000 a month, which really helped. But she had multiple services and we had been working together a bit. So yeah, I would say kind of averaged around 1,500 a month though with most people.
Yeah, yeah. So and it was pretty standard lead gen offer for the most part, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much lead gen and then just like upselling throughout.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, I know a lot of like the people who are going to be watching this are, marketing agency owners. They're struggling to sell $1,500 per month retainers and getting people to buy into that, and we've talked about this, about how that service is becoming more commoditized and, a little bit more saturated in how it's
Yeah.
presented.
Yeah.
So obviously we've been working on the consulting stuff, and you
Hmm.
recently closed your biggest deal, cash collected as well. And we can obviously see how this is going to scale up probably to way more than 30K. Like we've talked about this too. I think you're going to hit
Hmm.
significantly more than that. But yeah, I think maybe if you want to touch on like your old offer versus kind of your new offer, that would be really sweet for some of these marketing agency owners to hear.
Yeah, what's really interesting about the offer is that I really am not selling a completely different thing. There are a few tweaks to that, and I think that's what you've taught me in working together, and like being able to personalize that and get your input has helped a lot. But before, I mean, I'm really selling the same thing. It's just that, okay, understanding my niche a little bit better and how they like to speak about it and kind of making the offer exciting and interesting to them and how I speak about each product has helped a lot. For example, instead of saying I can help you with Facebook ads to scale your real estate business, it's now like diversifying your lead gen to then get you XYZ. And then I have different names that I use for different pieces. So instead of like an appointment booker, it's like an offer call booker, like things that actually speak to their desires
Yeah.
and positioning it as like an all-in-one solution. And there are like, for example, the offer call booker is something that I did add, but was a very low lift. But I wasn't sharing that I was consulting with them, even though I was having monthly calls,
Yeah.
even though I was doing a lot of the like lead follow-up part of it. I wasn't positioning that as part of the service. And
Yeah.
now that I am, they're seeing the value in it, and I now understand why. It's just a shift of how you speak about your offer.
100%. Yeah. 1,000%. I think most marketing agencies are already doing like some version of consulting or solving like a lot of these problems that these business owners have. And all they're saying
Hmm.
is like, hey, I'll run your ads. But then you're like stressing out trying to like help them book the leads into appointments, and then helping them with their sales process, or building all these like back end automations, but you don't ever present it and position it in
Yeah.
a way that like makes sense to them. We're not trying to
Yeah.
like go into every little detail, but these things are super important. And marketing agencies don't know, like, I mean, you're a great example of how much like people are willing to pay when you position an offer in the right way. Like niches where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't afford a $1,500 a month retainer, and then you go and close a 10K deal, right? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just a huge shift in the piece of it. But like knowing that, yeah, I just had to I mean, I felt severely underpaid now that I think about it. Like if I was doing all of those things. And now I truly feel like, I mean, I think that my package is 100% worth 10,000. So I'm not like faking it.
yeah,
It's just that I definitely undersold myself before.
yeah, most agencies are, and most agencies have to, because like with the if the offer is not positioned in the right way with their audience or their niche, the problem is that it's just a race to the bottom, because your offer looks the same as everyone else's. Like you don't really have a unique solution.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Then it's just a
Hmm.
race to the bottom. There's nothing else differentiating your offer or you. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess maybe touch on that. So you've basically changed your offer. It's now kind of like a 10K implementation.
Hmm.
So first of all, how did it feel to close like a 10K pay in full?
It felt wild. Like I honestly like couldn't believe it because I'd gone so long saying one thing when I'm really selling another, now. So I'm just like taking it in. I'm like, wow, someone was willing to put that money down for their business with me. And to be honest, like I had pitched this new offer to four different people. Three of them, or maybe five people, three of them, 100%, I'm very close to closing. Like we're very hyper interested. And
Three
then
on top
one of
of the
them
one you
just,
closed?
Two on top of the one I closed. So
Okay.
three total out of the five definitely were interested. I'm still doing follow-ups with them.
Nice.
And the one who closed, it did take some nurturing because obviously, like, that's a big ask. And I think one of the pieces that I learned is I'm learning how to make sure there's enough nurturing in place before I pitch this offer as well. So that's something that like I've definitely adapted and I'm
Yeah.
like shifting a little bit. But once that's in place, it makes the conversation so much easier. And yeah, it just kind of sold itself. It was kind of interesting. Like I presented the offer and it was a little overwhelming. It took a little, I'm making tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like, I kind of feel like I need to charge more than 10,000. And that's a little assumptive and ambitious to say, but
No, that's
yeah,
great. That's gonna help you in like the sales process. And I think what was cool too
yeah,
is like you didn't feel like you had to do any crazy sales tactics or force this
right.
offer. Like the offer sold itself, like you said, which means it's a really good
Yes.
offer.
Although I have to give you a lot of credit on the sales piece because something that, so like if it were up to me, just like being in the marketing world, I would love to be a nerd behind my computer getting my clients results. Okay, that's me.
Yeah,
I've always kind of been that way. And sales, intimidates me.
sure.
I like having good conversations. I'm probably a really good opener on sales calls, but when it comes to closing, it's just like it's so unnatural to me. And I come from the customer service world, so like that made it even more like it's the opposite way of thinking sometimes. But I feel like working with you, like you've helped me like analyze my sales calls, which has been a huge help. Like you've gotten so specific to like at different points when I share things, how to temp check, what questions to ask at different parts of the call. And like these little shifts have helped so that every time I do get on a new call, I'm thinking about that in the back of my mind. And now it's like I know what to do. It's not just like a sales tactic, but it's like I make the call go smoother and I'm handling like things are still coming up that I feel uncomfortable about and I don't know how to answer yet. But I know I'll work through those. And the more I pitch this offer, it'll get easier.
100%. Yeah. And you've done a great job implementing. I think that's why I love working with you, is because I tell you what to do and you actually implement, which is great.
Oh, thank you. It's because I know that you have the right answer and I trust you.
Oh, well, thank you. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
no, but
it's been
it's
great.
cool.
And like it's nice having someone on your side too through this because I think we're all behind our computers, like
Yeah,
doing our like working on our business by ourselves. At least I am. And so, yeah, knowing that there's someone who can like I can even reach out to you, like I try not to do that too often, but when I do really need support, you're able to like guide me on like little things that are really important. Like, how do I respond to this in a way where I can get to X, you know?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's great because those are the little things that, I mean, like most people will just toss some videos and things like that. And we've kind of made this the opposite, where it is
mhm.
about those little tweaks and stuff and helping you kind of like internalize it truly. So now you actually are learning these things so that you can take it into, any other business you run. This might not be the only business you do. Highly doubt it. You're probably going to ascend and do more. But then you have like these actual frameworks that you can apply to pretty much anything that you actually implement.
Yeah, absolutely. Like some of the ways that I'm presenting this offer that we've worked through, I already have a couple other like solutions for the groups of my niche right
Yeah,
now, where I'm like, oh yeah, if I had a course, it could look like this. Oh, if I had like a reporting thing, it could look like this. If I had, so I could see it branching out within the niche, but I'm also like, if I went to another niche, I'd also know what to do. It's not
exactly.
like I'm
Yeah.
stuck, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's
Yeah.
really cool. So I think that's great. I mean, in terms of being able to launch this offer, not really having the right sales nurturing assets. So now that you've implemented
Mhm.
that, that's gonna skyrocket your closing ratios and the amount of people just going through your funnel in general. And
Mhm.
also, you have a couple more in follow up too. So the cool thing about
Mhm.
having like an offer that's actually 10K and you actually feel really good about it and all these things is that even
Mhm.
despite not having these things, you were still able to make so much, which is why I love high ticket, is because your
Mhm.
ability to like scale up to like 50K per month. That means like if you never retained a client, you just had to find like
Yeah.
basically a client a week, a little bit more than a client a week.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. I was actually thinking that because just to like maintain where I'm at if I just brought in new people, but also like the other side of it for me is like I've had clients who get cold feet and we're in the middle of something on the first month and they don't want to pay ad spend. So this really ensures that like I can properly get them results
Yeah.
for the 3 month. It's a 3 month program that I have. And so as long as they pay in full, I know that like, okay, well, if they back out, I mean, they can't.
They
You know
can't.
what I mean?
They're committed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better about the result because I'm like, I know they're committed.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit more upfront nurturing, definitely a little more follow-up stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm like, that was worth it for
Oh
sure.
yeah. You probably save more time nurturing them a little bit more upfront than having to like feel like you're trying to save a client. And
Yeah,
typically, you know how it
definitely.
is with marketing. Sometimes it just takes a little bit more time to get them results because there's a setup, there's a learning curve to them closing these leads, and it just
Yeah,
takes some time to get the ball moving. But
totally.
it's
Mhm.
great though because I know your retention is really high. You get great results for your clients, which is great. So I just think like with where you're at now, your offer getting dialed, your sales assets getting dialed, your your follow ups, plus your ability to retain, like it's just a recipe for 50 to 100K months. Truly think you're gonna hit
Wow.
that with this offer
You have
for
faith in
sure.
me. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I see where this is going. Absolutely. And I think that the thing I've learned through this whole process too is that like when I started thinking, like you've suggested, in systems, like we're like building foundations of a system and then making tweaks. Like that's helped a lot because when I
Mm,
first started, it was intimidating to think that there's so many things to do to get this going. But it all started from just like, okay, I'm going to send one message to people and perfect that one message. And then I just, you do that and then you repeat it over and over and over. And then,
yeah.
okay, how can I delegate that to someone on my team? Okay, next. Right. So, like, it's crazy to think that like 6 months ago, I didn't have any systems in place to get like my like new people into my world. I didn't have an email list, even though that's something that, I just didn't have time to build it as I was building my business.
You're like, I'm doing
Funny
this for everyone else. Why am I not doing it for myself?
enough, I can't be a hypocrite anymore. So, and ironically, well, interestingly, I haven't run ads through this whole process too,
Yeah.
which you've showed me as well. And I find, I don't know, it was interesting when you brought that up to me because I was thinking right at the beginning I should be running ads, even if it's just getting people to my list. And you've reassured me several times like that we don't have to do that. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Time and a place for ads for sure, but I think most
Mhm.
businesses, and you've seen some of the people in the group as well, they're generating 50K plus months just organically, or
Yes.
more, and you don't really need paid. Like most people are pretty good with that, and if you want to go surpass like 6 figure months, you'll probably need paid ads at some point. But like I'd
Mhm.
rather take 100K in profit and have 5K to spend on ads without feeling stressed about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the nice part about it. And like the guy that I spoke with, who I'm working with now, who did the $10,000 deal, we had a conversation on Facebook that led to a discovery call that led to a sales call. So it's like, wow, I didn't have that perspective before doing this because yeah, came from the world of paid ads. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but that's nice. Now I don't have to like worry about investing in that. And I'll pay a little bit to help my VAs help me with some of the systems. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good stuff. I'm very happy though with what I've built thanks to your help. And like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
It feels great when it all comes together. Because yeah, I mean like
Yes.
I even remember a couple months ago we just audited your time and what you were spending time
Yes.
on and all this stuff as
You
well.
are really good at like getting to the thing that needs to be focused on the most right away, which I appreciate. When we first started doing the consulting meetings, yeah, I really thought like, oh, I need to get better at like getting more sales calls. And then I realized, or even like just like, I don't know, just basic things, time management.
Yeah.
I had no clue that I was spending all this time on things. And yeah, after tracking every minute of my day for an entire week, I was like, I'm spending so much time on fulfillment that is so repeatable that this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm spending time on clients that aren't paying me very much. And we're not getting anywhere from that. So that
Yeah.
was very revealing.
It's good, and that's
I think
exactly what
everyone should
those
do
things
it.
are for, you know. So you need clarity to be able to kind of create those systems and things like that. And now, you know, you should feel like you have a really solid foundation kind of going into this new offer, and you should
Hmm.
probably feel like you can handle 50K per month exactly with what you have pretty easily now.
Yeah, I do agree. I think so. And the only part where I'm at now is I have to fulfill the pieces of that. But because I've been selling the, essentially lead gen for so long, along with like just these little tweaks, I don't feel that nervous about it. But there is a part of me that's like, I want to make sure this is good. The way I crafted my offer though is kind of like guaranteed that they'd succeed. Like
Exactly.
that's why they're paying 10K, It's like there's no reason because they're also investing in ad spend on top of that. So I do pre-qualify people a little bit for that. Luckily for my niche, it's not a huge issue with ad spend and they're kind of aware that that's the case. But it does feel good to know that like, okay, what we're going to do, it's like it's going to be really hard for them to fail also.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's
Hmm.
really what a real offer should be, is like a full solution, not just, oh, here, let me generate you some leads and leave you to it. Because
Hmm.
anyone can do that. But now with
Yeah.
how fleshed out your offer is, like it's such a unique offer that I honestly think that people would really struggle to copy your offer. It's
Hmm.
very similar to a lot of like the other offers in the space too, and in the mastermind with the other members. Like
Yeah.
it'd be tough. Like for example, Daniel's offer. Um, I
Hmm.
know the roofing space really well, worked in it, but I'd have troubles like copying his offer if I really wanted to as well, because he does all
Yeah.
these little things on top of it, and it's just kind of the same thing with your offer, and it's just a
Hmm.
really unique offer now, and you've just really positioned
Hmm.
it well, kind of against like any competitors that you have that you're they'd struggle to compete with you.
Yeah, I totally agree that Daniel's offer is very unique and that inspired me.
Yeah.
And I think I landed at this offer because it's like you prompting me to think about, okay, aside from lead gen, what are all of these other problems that come up in the business that have a marketing solution for or have something that can be handled? So while I do feel like that kind of fleshed out the offer, I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to solve like 10 other problems down the line, and I don't have answers for those. But when I do, I'll charge way more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll just make my offer even better for my clients, and that'll be great. Like
Yeah.
sales is another piece that I really want to kind of get a little more industry knowledge on. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's always interesting too, because um, it's good. Like if it's hard for you to come up with that solution, it means others aren't really gonna take the time to figure it out. So when you do figure it out, like your offer
Mm,
is even more unique. It's even more of a solution to your clients, which is fantastic.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most market, if you feel friction, it's a good thing, because it's like, I don't know how to solve this problem, but like you know
Mhm.
you'll find a way. Most people
Yeah.
aren't gonna find a way.
Yeah, it does take a lot more effort on the front end for that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, like I have looked into like other competitors, like offers and what they're doing, and I'm like, now I'm looking at them and I'm like, oh yeah, I used to have to position like Facebook ads 25 million different ways, and now it's like not about that at all, and that feels
Yeah.
good.
Not about that at all. Exactly. It's
Yeah,
one
like I
small
barely
piece.
use that word. Yeah, like I do say Facebook and Google ads at some point, but it's like because that's not the focus, I don't get all this pushback of like, well,
Yeah, it's like you're charging me 10K just for Facebook ads. I can do that myself. You
Yeah,
always
which
hear
is
that.
totally not true anyway. And it's like, yeah, it's unfair that they jump to that conclusion. So, yeah, like it's nice to not have to have that pushback anymore.
Deal with that for sure. Sweet. Well,
Hmm.
that's great. Yeah, I'm super stoked to kind of see the progression and everything like that, and it's really cool to see and like share obviously your journey too, because there's a lot of marketing agencies kind of in that 5K per month mark, 10K per month mark,
Hmm.
and don't really know they can scale up and how quickly it can happen with the right offer,
Yeah.
which is cool. The other thing too I'd like to touch on is you were also here for the mastermind, our
Mhm.
in-person mastermind. So I don't know if you had any crazy shifts or things like
Mm.
that when you were here, but maybe kind of touch on like the community aspect around being surrounded like around agency owners who are pretty successful.
Yeah. Well, I was really excited about the trip and going up there. So I'm in LA and yeah, we went up to Canada for this trip. And first of all, it was really fun just being in a new place, being with other like-minded business owners, because it's hard to talk to family sometimes about what you do and people who just don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's nice that we're all on the same page. And even in this group, the mastermind, it was like people who were at my level or further along in their business. So I was constantly learning from everybody about what they were doing, and everyone was so generous in sharing how they were running their business and what they were doing to get results. I mean, I was like, wow, I have a lot of work to do. I think we all felt that way after we left. But
Yeah.
it was more than just like the to-do list coming out of it. It was like we bonded and I felt like I walked away with like some really solid friendships and you were so great at like organizing the whole thing to make us feel like we had time to like connect but learn but like have fun. It was really an amazing experience.
That's
I
awesome.
it's like yeah, very, very worth
Yeah,
it.
we definitely there's a lot of work hard, play hard type of vibe
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, yes. There was some karaoke nights there at the end, but yeah.
Carry, yeah, that's right.
But it was really fun. It was a cool way to like, yeah,
Yeah, and I
know
think
people.
it's like hard to explain that to people, but I think whenever you're around like just like-minded people, it really fires you up in a way. And like you said, there's a lot of like tactical stuff you learn, but then you kind of look at like, this is how I always felt when I went to masterminds and stuff, is that when
Mm,
you're around like someone who's doing significantly bigger numbers, you one take in the tactical stuff, but you also like look at how they think about things or how they think about a problem or how their mindset is or little
mhm.
things, how they make decisions. So I
Yeah.
think that's like a lot of the stuff like you obviously just can't learn from a course or anything like that, which is why I think being around a community is so powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And being in person really like amplifies that. And
Yeah.
you also just on a human to human level get so much more comfortable with being able to talk through things and share things. Yeah, again, people were really open about where they were at in their business. And like there were several times, as you know, where people came into the room with like having closed paid in fulls,
Oh
which is so
yeah. That was
which
awesome.
sounds so boastful, but it really wasn't like that. It was like people were just they were sharing like all the hard work they'd put in and that they were still keeping their business moving while at the mastermind. And the
Some
girl
big
next to
deals.
me came in after closing a $20,000 PIF, which made me think, "Oh, this is possible." You know what I mean? There's sometimes where you're like, I'm always going to be charging like 1,500 a month or 2,000. No one's going to really pay XYZ. And then you're like, oh, the reason she closed that, not just like she closed that, the reason she closed that is because she framed it this way. It's all about like positioning. I had no
Positioning.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that was
confidence.
awesome. It's cool though. No, like it's super important to see those things because it's like the 4 minute mile. No one thought you could break that until someone did,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden everyone's doing it. So
Oh, that's going to challenge me then. I've always struggled with running a 10-minute mile. So maybe I
same.
need to think through that one.
But it's pretty cool when you see someone like close a deal right beside you, and it's like, holy crap, like yeah, this is doable. I can do that. Like there's absolutely no reason I
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to do that.
Yes, that's exactly how I felt like leaving the mastermind.
Yeah. And then it
Mhm.
motivates you and it breaks limiting beliefs and then you actually take
Mhm.
action and it's just like such a positive flywheel, which I think is so cool. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I've always been a part of a mastermind no matter what, always invested into that because there's just like some type of ROI there that you can't quantify, but I somehow
Yeah.
always make more money after a mastermind. Honestly,
Yeah,
seemed
that
like this was
really,
the same
that's
case for a
cool.
majority of people too in this
So that's
mastermind.
happened to you.
Yeah,
That's neat.
yeah. So it's a cool and it's just fun. It's always great to travel and spend time with people as well.
Yeah, yeah. It was really fun because, yeah, it was neat that you kind of got everybody involved with picking the next location. And I think we're all stoked about the next
The next
one.
one's gonna be awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Portugal, if anyone cares to know. Um,
Yeah, yes. I'm excited about Portugal. That was good. Someone suggested that.
yeah,
And
I think
yeah,
Savannah suggested that. And it was a great suggestion. It was fun.
yes.
The way we
Glad
did
she
it too is like we're not going like we chose all the places we're not going to, and then we chose
did. Yeah.
the final one.
Yes. Yes, there were some interesting ones, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm stoked about Portugal.
yeah, it'll be great. Well,
Yeah.
sweet. Thanks for sharing. Is there anything else you want to share or any kind of last minute tidbits before we wrap up here?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think like one thing I've taken away from this whole experience is like while it's exciting to get momentum immediately and get a close or get like, people in the door, I just want to stress that like I've spent the last year and a half building my business, maybe 2 years, but the last 6 and 7 months have been a lot of upfront, like building systems and building effort and slow, like it was an initial slow roll, but I knew that was going to be the case. And
Yeah,
so what's crazy is like it really is a snowball effect. And it's like once I started shifting my offer, yes, I had to start telling people about the offer. I had to start following up with them and like things like that. So it does take a little time, but
yeah,
but it's like exponential because like last month I was still in the $10,000 wheel even though I was talking to a month, even though I was talking to people regularly for the last 3 months. But literally I have 10 people who I'm like I already had someone close this month, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have like two or three others. Like
yeah.
it's just such a cumulative effect. So I stress the whole, I guess it's reminding me that like patience in the process and like building the systems so that you just improve over time is like exactly what is needed here.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. And I think sometimes people, yeah, like you said, almost get attached to that result of like, oh, I want to hit 50K per month, like right away.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Mhm.
Well, it's not to say it can't happen, but it's like even if that
True.
did happen, it's not sustainable. You don't have the right systems in place. Like imagine you 6 months ago, you had 50K worth of clients. You'd probably be like, I don't even know
No,
what to do.
no. I mean, that's exactly why we did my time audit, Nick. I didn't have
Exactly.
time to take on $50,000 of clients.
I was like, you're not ready for this, Haley.
No, but that's the other thing is because I actually spent quite a bit of time shifting my business with like the fulfillment piece and with
Mm,
like just basic stuff that I was doing that I needed to delegate. So now I'm like, okay, I can take on more people so that when I do bring them on, it's not chaotic and horrible experience for them. Like that's honestly like my worst nightmare is someone coming in and like not having a good result, not getting communicated with. Like I really, really care about my clients.
yeah.
So like I just, yeah, I feel really good now at a good place where it's like a happy medium. Yes, I'm selling and I do have to do that, but I'm also like going to be able to bring them in. It's not going to be hectic.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. I'm pretty sure you're gonna
Thanks.
smash through 30K this month. Let's make that
That would
happen.
be crazy.
You
Yeah,
can do
let's,
it.
okay.
One
Gonna
or two.
manifest
I
it.
mean, realistically, that's like another deal, right? And then you have your clients who are still paying on retainer and things like that. So
That's true. It would happen if I close one more. Think I can do
I think you can
it?
do it. You might. I mean, maybe shoot for 40. Who knows?
Yeah, I
Shoot
know.
for
Like
40.
I
Maybe
actually
end up at
have.
30 or end up at 40, which is pretty
Yes. I do
crazy,
have
right?
someone who's interested in paying like on a different payment plan. That would be a $16,000 situation. So who
Ooh,
knows?
little
That would be,
$16,000 situation is not bad.
yeah, not bad. So we'll see.
That's pretty cool. It's great to see this growth, and it's cool to see like it is really cool to see you jump from like 5K a month to now we're talking like 10x that, like 30 to
Mhm.
50K months is really right there for the taking for you. So it's super exciting.
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to helping you get there and seeing you smash through that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nick. It's really, you really care and you've really helped me a lot. And yes, I'll continue to listen and do my best to implement.
As you always
Okay.
do. So awesome.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much, Haley. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, good to talk to you, Nick.